Today I'll show you how I printed and worked out this one into this piece, and afterwards how I printed and turned this one into this piece. Stay tuned. Hello print fans! You might have seen my recent series of experiments with oil paint on the gel plate. If not, here is the link to the first part. But anyway, I'll show you the printing again of the two that I'm working on today. This is the fourth part already, so I'll also link the oil playlist here. So I'm starting with the first print that suggested a landscape, and you can see here that I'm picking up the rest of an oil, white oil paint and blue oil paint mix as to make a sky. And this is purely oil. And I tried to make this effect with the swirling, but it didn't really work that well. So I'm putting a foil on, a cling film thing, and it starts to make a nice pattern, which I think would be nice for a sky. And you don't have to hurry, because when you pick up oil paint, it never dries on the gel plate. And you don't have to wait, just rub for a while and then it comes off. So this would be the sky. And now I'm making a mix, a brown mix of some oil paints. You really have to roll it out for a while, because it's quite stubborn and tacky, like etching inks, even more. So, oh, I forgot to tell you, because you can't see it. I'm making this mix on a plexiglass sheet and then putting it aside and using only the paint that's left on the brayer. And now I'm rolling it off, but at the top only once, so that it's a very thin layer with a lot of structure. And then I'm taking the same plexiglass down on it to maybe get some Decalcomania and take some paint off. And this is going to be the ground for my landscape. So I put down that printed sky, and to be able to register it better, turning the gel plate around, I have put it on a sturdy piece of plexiglass before, so that I can turn it better and it doesn't wobble around. And so you can already see how it works with the sky. Then turning it around again and rubbing it a bit from the other side. But you don't have to do that for very long. And as you can see, this is a very nice and inspiring landscape. For me, it is. There is a little misprint up here that I didn't notice. There must have been a residue on the gel plate somewhere. So, well, I can always say I did that on purpose, because it's interesting. Now I'm starting the workout with my beloved Polychromos pencils. And these are colors that fit the ground, I think. If you don't want to see this workout and want to see the next print, skip a few minutes. I'll give you the time here where you have to go to, if you don't want to see the workout here. So I'm going along the upper rim of the landscape here with the walnut brown, which I think suits the best here. And I'm also using the cling film pattern in the back there to make some landscape, ground patterns. And I don't mind the blue still coming through. I want to keep that blue largely, because I like the idea of having this landscape see-through, which is sometimes on the back of the horizon that the colors mix. I like that effect. And don't tell me this is not realistic. If you've seen some of my videos, you know that I'm not sticking with reality all the time. But sometimes I will. It differs really from what the paint is giving me. I just like to explore the things that I imagine, even if they're not close to reality. Anyway, I really enjoyed doing this landscape, all the little brown things there, and all the little, also the lighter part here where I can make some shadows for the little spots here. I love that. But after a little while, I decided to make some parts a little darker to make it more ground than sky. And that is because I'm not interested what I just preached a minute before. Yeah. And here I'm rubbing a bit on the blue and white oil paint, and I can still feel the paint is not, it's not wet. It's still a little tacky, but just a little. It is okay to draw over it, obviously, but the oil paint never really dries here. So when you finish the painting, you should really go over it with a coat, with a matte medium, but one that is specially designed for oil paint. And also you should really use oil paper. I think that would work better, but I didn't do it for this session. I'll try that another time. Doing a bit more work down here in the right corner, as the whole area is a little light, so I'm working on that and finding out it has even more structures that are even more interesting. It's just like while you're doing this is that you're discovering this landscape, discovering sort of a living thing, like a realm, you know, like my own realm. I've spoken about this before, but it's yeah, I like it that the oil paint gives these nice structures, but in the end I will not really recommend the oil paint. I'd rather use etching inks again or regular open acrylics. And now I'm going even further from reality in that I am making a moon that is as well in the sky as in the ground there. In the earth part of the moon, I want to make a pattern, just some stripes, just for some different looking area. And I'm starting with a white pencil, and now I'm using a light blue aquarelle in blue cobalt. Yeah, I mean light cobalt. It doesn't really matter actually. It mixes with the brown oil paint, and so the stripes are not blue anymore. This is how not dry the oil paint is here. But as you can see, that's also working to make interesting new effects. And I'm trying to make some shadows here. Actually, the shadows are like the same as the highlights in this case, but I just do it to make the object look round. And then I'm coming in the sky with the white pencil again. And I'm only going over it very lightly, and you can see it's not leaving that much pencil paint, but that is enough to make it a round object. And also the moon is see-throughable in all areas, and I really like that. And here I'm coming in with a dark brown again, just to give the stripes in the lower moon some shadows. And also I'm giving the moon object a cast shadow that it casts on the landscape, as if it was lying there. And lastly, I'm coming in with a light blue pencil, enhancing the structure in the sky just a little bit here and there. And I'm signing this piece as it will be available in my shop which is the Shopify shop, Tina's Art. The link is in the underneath the info box. You can see the shop right away, and it's also in my YouTube profile. Go visit my shop. Please do. And on with the repeating of the second print. There is some oil paint, green brownish oil paint left on the gel plate, and I'm picking this up or making further landscape areas with the gold. It's the gold by Golden, and then coming in with the golden fluid paint that is blue. And then I'm coming in with the alcohol paint that is named Espresso. This is all very exciting. So I'm picking up this experiment first, but this pickup I will not use. I will still develop it further before I have the print that I want to work out. This is the first print. Interesting, but not mine really. Yeah, because the blue was too intense for my liking, so I'm rolling it out here. And here you can see how these nice effects are on the gel plate. The gold and the alcohol, that was just, it's fantastic. I really have to repeat this sometime. But other than that, this is not much oil paint. Also the pickup paint now is the Lukas white paint, which is a good pickup color. And there was only a little residue of the greenish brown of the oil paint. So this is not really an oil print. It's a mixed print. And don't you just love that? Well, I do, obviously. I'm finding a horizon line to start with. And I'm not sure whether the whole thing is going to be an underseascape or a regular landscape with a little bit of golden blue sky. Anyway, I'm making a moon again. I'm starting with it very lightly with the Titan Buff pencil, and then making some shapes into the moon with the Prussian blue. And everything I'm doing now is quite subtle. Here I'm making a sort of a raindrop or a big, I don't know, raindrop planet. And here I'm sketching out some trees inside the bubble that also goes on the water. I don't know how else to explain these strange things that come up in my brain. As I said, I'm only sketching this subtly, and I'm going to be bolder in a minute and get some other markers for this. This is the Prussian blue again, and giving these drops some stony look. And so up the horizon line there's like little trees, and under the horizon line or into the water they resemble rocks. And I'm doing the same thing with the moon also. Sorry for hopping back and forth, but that's just the way I work. I'm also preparing some of the shapes down and in the ocean. I've decided it's a seascape. And for some reason I want these stones to make a pyramid, so pile up. And why not give the stones some floral elements? And on the left side above the horizon line, I'm even drawing a little forest of its own. And this is when I decide to get a little bolder, because it's all too subtle now. And I'm using a chalk marker first, but then pretty soon I'm switching to a gel marker, which works really well on this mix. This is it. Sakura Nelly Roll. Yeah, this is great. I'm always afraid to come in that bold, and I always start subtle, but yeah, well, maybe I'm not that brave, but I have a sure gut feeling what I want, as it turns out to be this fantastic landscape. Sorry, I didn't mean fantastic. I am vain, but not that vain. I meant fantasy landscape. Also putting some highlights on the little trees up there. And some highlights in the moonscape. And there is another little planet back behind the other moon, which is also a raindrop moon. And this is what my dog has to say. She's trying to lick the mic. Coming in with the chalk marker again. The good thing about this, as you just saw, you can paint a little bit and then spread it out and smear it with your fingers if you're quick. And that's one thing I really love about the chalk markers. And I'm using the regular white pencil again up here because these the Gelli Roll marks were so contrasty, too heavy. I mean, too high. So I'm sort of diffusing this with a white pencil. And here's a little third planet sinking into the water. That Gelli Roll marker, you can also smear it if you're really quick. But if you're too quick, it goes away completely. You get a feeling for this after a while. So I'm working in under the sea now, and I liked what's up the horizon. I really like, but down in the water, I have to do some more inventing of life. But what's also important for me, whenever I paint water, I want some reflections so that you can easily connect it with the water impression. I'm taking off that white I put there, and instead of that, I'm just drawing white lines that are going down into the sea. Whenever I feel a lack of imagination with nature, I use the book by Ernst Haeckel, who was a very good drawing artist of floral things and nature things. I'll put the name of the book in the info box below. And surprise, I'm coming in with yet another kind of paint. And this is watercolor paint, and I'm just using a drop of water. This is all metallic paint, and I'm gonna try the light gold first. And then I decide that I need a little bit of the darker gold. The light gold is, well, it's not visible very well somehow. Doesn't have that many pigments, I guess. Man, this video is getting too long, so I'm speeding up a lot here. What I'm doing basically is try to find some lively forms of underwater life, highlighting it with the golden watercolor and giving it shadows and highlights with the pencils. And lastly, I'm turning these blobs into jellyfish. My sense of inventing life undersea seems to deteriorate because the jellyfish look very strange and not like jellyfish at all, I think. But what the heck? They're my jellyfish. And then I felt like adding some smoke on the water there. And that's it. I hope you liked this one. It was a lot of work and also a lot of fun. Do tell me your opinion in the comments. And Christmas is coming up, and I think I gotta do a Christmas card video. Tell me if you would like that. I think I should do it next because you might want to be inspired before Christmas is coming. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to see you next week. Bye.